Jenny was upstairs with her baby while her husband and son closed down for the night. Joe was sweeping the floor while Jack counted the money. Jack finished counting and smiled. "Not bad. We made over 500 smackerinos tonight." Joe didn't care. He was stuck sweeping the floor. As far as he was concerned, he should be getting half the money. He never understood where all the money went. When his father was around, they'd lived first class. Without the chief, there never seemed to be enough money on hand. He knew his Uncle Jack was losing at the track, but he couldn't be losing that much. Work was hard and they didn't have much free time. Besides, Joe usually went along to the track. He had a good idea how much his uncle had been betting, and it didn't add up. Joe pushed the broom, wondering about the money. Though he was 14, he had the mind and body of a young man. He was slightly less than 6 feet tall, with a large chest and shoulders. His black hair was short, and he always wore his father's black cowboy hat and Indian chief ring. It had been a week since his last shave, and his mustache and sideburns were growing black peach fuzz. Joe was still sweeping when he saw Campanero and Olivetti walk in. They both wore dark suits with fedora hats, and both were smoking cigarettes. Jack quickly stuffed the money into a brown bag and hid it under the bar next to the chief's gun belt. Campanero said, "Heard you Indians did pretty good tonight, Jocko." Jack scratched under his white cowboy hat. "Wasn't too bad." Campanero took a drag off his cigarette and said, "You know, you Indians are getting behind on your protection." He flicked his cigarette against the wall and added, "I'd hate to see some derelict burn this place down." "How much?" Jack asked, out of energy and frowning. Campanero smiled, saying, "That's what I like about you, Jocko. You're smart. $500 will clear you for the rest of the month." Joe had been easing his way behind the bar. Suddenly he grabbed the chief's Colt and pointed the gun at Campanero, shouting, "You ain't getting shit. Now get the hell out of here before I shoot your balls off." Campanero pointed his finger at the kid and yelled, "You'd better put that cannon down or I'm going to take it away and spank you with it." He reached out to grab Joe's arm. Joe remembered Campanero kicking his ass and the look in his father's eyes when he was gunned down. His heart ached for his father as he pulled the trigger. His arm kicked into the air and he staggered backward. "Jesus fucking Christ! Son of a goddamn bitch!" Campanero screamed, falling to the floor with blood pumping out a quarter-size hole in the back of his thigh. Olivetti ducked beneath the bar and pulled out his .38. "You all right?" he whispered to Campanero. "No, I am not fucking all right," Campanero screamed. "My goddamn leg's about to fall off. Kill that son of a bitch! Kill him now!" Holding the .45 with both hands, Joe fired into the air, shouting, "I wouldn't try it!" Hiding under the bar, Olivetti yelled, "Don't shoot! I gotta get Tony to the hospital." Joe stood behind the bar wearing his father's hat, holding his father's gun. The hammer cocked back. For the first time since his father's death, he felt he had control over Campanero and Olivetti, and he liked it. He knew Olivetti had a gun and wondered whether or not to go for the kill. He could tell what would happen to Olivetti by the way Campanero squirmed on the floor. Finally, Joe yelled to Olivetti, "Get him out of here, fast, and don't be stupid!" "All right, kid. Take it easy with that thing. You got my word. I won't try nothing." "What are you waiting for? Get him out of here! Now!" Joe watched Olivetti help Campanero stand on his good leg and hobble towards the door. Campanero looked back and shouted, "This ain't over, you little punk! I'm gonna kill you! You hear me, boy? I'm gonna kill your worthless—" Joe fired the chief's Colt again. The bullet lodged in the wall. A piece of wood splintered off and hit Olivetti in the face. Olivetti quickly dragged Campanero through the doorway, yelling, "Jesus Christ, Tony! Don't you know when to shut up?" That night, the chief's saloon burned to the ground and all of the mafia's loose guns came looking for Joe. Jack had barely had time to get Joe and his family out of Chicago. He knew Sergeant Duffy was home from the war and was helping Blackbear around the ranch. Blackbear and the sergeant had killed hundreds of people to protect what they believed in, and they both had a bad attitude toward the mafia for killing the chief. Jack knew Joe would be safe if he could make it to South Dakota. He drove the chief's Cadillac as fast as it would go, and they made it safely to the ranch the next day.